I've spent about a month by myself in my apartment. I haven't really come in contact with many people. I am married, but my wife is away on a trip for 5 weeks. Due to health reasons, I wasn't able to go with her. I'm not working, and so there's nowhere I have to be. And being on my own has taught me a lot about myself and our inherent nature of interacting with people. So in these past 4 weeks, it's actually been just over, I've experienced all sorts of emotions, whether that's sadness, loneliness. I've cried, I've been on the other end of the scale. I've been excited, I've been joyful, I've been happy. It's been a roller coaster that I never expected. I also think it's important to understand that this isn't my home country. I was born and bred in the UK and I'm in Australia. So there's only so many friends that I've made in this country. That's played a big part in what I've experienced in the past month of being on my own. So initially I really didn't like my own company, because when you end up on your own, you start to think about, or you start becoming aware of your own thoughts, whether that's negative thoughts about yourself or things you're happy about. In most cases, it's always negative things you don't like about yourself. I'd get easily bored. I wouldn't know what to do. Sometimes I'd just sit there and ask myself, why am I even here? What's my purpose? What's the reason of my existence? I felt like a nobody. I felt almost like I wasn't needed. I felt irrelevant. I know it's quite harsh to say, but it got to that point. So I kept distracting myself. I wanted to keep myself busy. I did try to meet up with some friends, the few friends that I do have here, but it was either a case of plans had changed or I wasn't feeling up to it, so I'd cancel. And there's many times throughout this month where I just stayed completely silent. I mean, I don't think I even said a word out loud. Maybe there was the odd thank you when I went food shopping, but you know, just imagine that, like having an empty apartment or empty home to stay in. You've got no job to go to. Due to health reasons, I can't engage in any outdoor sports or activities just yet. So it's a case of listening to that internal chatter and working out what it's trying to tell you. I've been trying to keep myself busy by things like doing housework, finding bits and bobs and little chores to do, even things that have been outstanding for a few months, maybe years. The thing that you said that you'll do but you never got around to doing, I was on my own, so I ended up fixing a picture to the wall, or cleaning a certain area in the home, or getting rid of some clothes that I don't wear anymore. But even then, things like housework, it just became so monotonous. You know, there were times when I just didn't want to do that anymore because I was doing it on repeat, especially when you're making food and having to clean up after yourself and then you've got to clean the apartment. I was just getting tired. It can make you feel quite lazy and unworthy when you don't feel there's a real purpose for you here. You're just getting through the day on your own, doing pointless things that feel like it is. There's been plenty of times where I've just sat down and just looked out the window and did nothing, where I'd wonder what other people are doing and if I can join them. Did I feel well enough to go join people? Was there anyone even available during work hours that I could go for a walk with? Not that I knew of. But some days I just didn't feel like it, and I think as time went on it just made me feel like doing less and less, getting to a point of being pretty sad. Eventually I came to realize that all these things are just distractions. The main challenge was actually what was going on in my head. It's all the thoughts and the feelings you have about yourself. They surface when you're on your own. When you're in a quiet space where there's no one to disturb you, the first thing that arises are the thoughts and the feelings that come up. And for the most part, they're not very kind. I'd end up saying unkind things to myself, like, you're a waste of space, you're not worthy, you shouldn't even be here, this is going to be your life forever. I'd say things like, I'm not good enough to get a job, I'll never be well enough with my health, no one really wants to talk to you, no one likes you, I mean, what are you even doing here? These are the kind of thoughts that came to mind. It's pretty harsh, I think a lot of us do this on the daily without even realizing it, but we have other things that distract us, like our job, maybe it's family, and other responsibilities. And we don't really spend the time to kind of tap into ourselves and understand what's going on inside as a way to really get to know yourself. But then after a couple of weeks have passed by, things began to change. The time alone made me realize that I needed to be my own best friend, where I didn't have to seek reliance or dependency on somebody else to make me feel good. I had to learn to enjoy my own company, and that could mean entertaining yourself, making yourself laugh, being silly, even doing silly things like dancing on your own, singing out loud, and just talking to yourself with kindness and support, instead of putting yourself down all the time, which I feel like I did a lot of before. I realized I had all this time where I could do anything I absolutely wanted. There was nothing I needed to do, it was just things I wanted to do. I had the choice to make. I had the opportunity, I had the time to make my day more enjoyable. Instead of sitting in misery, I could find ways to uplift myself, to make this life worth living. Even with the chores that I had to do, which are compulsory, I tried to make them enjoyable. I tried to make it a little bit more fun, so I played some music while I vacuumed the home. And I also organized my day where the things I had to do, I did, but I made sure I had a reward at the end with something I wanted to do. Even if it was as small as sitting down and having a cookie as a little reward, or going on a coastal walk near a beach, or maybe even just going shopping for gadgets, for clothes, just something enjoyable. This time alone just really made me realize that I needed to do things that made me feel good. And although it can come across selfish, the more good that you do for yourself, the better your energy is, the better your energy spreads onto others and makes others feel good. This time alone has just made me reflect on the person I want to be and the things that I want to do. And I have to be aware of if I'm taking the steps towards becoming that type of person. I want to be someone that's kind to myself, not only to others but myself, caring, thoughtful. I want to make people laugh, and I want to make myself laugh. I want to bring joy into my life every single day, because life is just an experience, and you can fill that experience with whatever gets you excited about it. You know, even the little things like interacting with a puppy or a little toddler trying to balance themselves when they're walking, like, it filled me with so much joy that I never expected. Because little kids and puppies, like, they don't really have the weight on their shoulders with all the responsibilities, the fears that have been kind of conditioned into them, the stress and the worries. They're free. They're completely free, and they're just enjoying life, even taking a footstep, and they're laughing at the silliest things. And I think that's where we've forgotten where we need to be, enjoying the little things. And that's how kids can really remind us of what life used to be like before we had to get a job, we had to get a degree, we pushed ourselves to succeed. This time alone really makes you realize how much your mind can control you with all the stress, the worries and the fears in life. I think it can take over, and the more you think about it, the more that happens in your life, the more that kind of goes wrong, and you become afraid of everything and anything in life, and that's not where you want to be. See, we can actually change our mental thought pattern. We can switch it out for things that make us feel good, that's joyful, that's happy, that's peaceful, something that's filled with laughter and fun. We have to try and find the excitement for life again. It could be the littlest thing, like having an ice cream, or making delicious food, or going on a bike ride, going out for a jog, getting into a group activity, doing some sort of sport, hobby, anything that sparks you with excitement. And we're all different, so it's about what something means to you rather than somebody else. I mean, Getting approval of others isn't the way to live life. It's about being truly authentic and aware of yourself. The more authentic you are in life, the less you're performing. Because whenever you're performing, you're only doing it to please others, and that's not who you are. I found that there's been a lot of procrastinating. There's things I wanted to do, but I just wouldn't take the step to do it because of the mental thought patterns of maybe I'm not good enough, maybe I can't do it, you'll never be able to do something, but other people can. There was so much negativity going on in my mind. I had to break through it by replacing all of those negative thoughts with all the positive thoughts, and it just made a huge difference. It got me motivated about living life again, about doing different things, experiencing new things, and being happy on my own. It took a while, but I started to really enjoy my own company. I started to talk to myself. Because I was in silent mode for several days, it just felt like I wasn't able to express how I was feeling or just express my joy and laughter, and I ended up just talking to myself and laughing at myself. It felt like a healthy way of like letting it out, and it made me feel a lot better as well. And another crucial element that I've learned is connection with people. I think we take it for granted how even saying hello to a stranger that passes by or someone that works in a shop, it's a big deal. I mean, I ended up making more of an effort whenever I went for my walks, my daily walks. I'd nod my head, I'd smile, I'd say hello, morning, afternoon. Sometimes I'd compliment them, or I'd ask them about the breed of their pet, just to get a conversation started. I think it's in our inherent nature to connect with other people, because we're all here for the same reason, experiencing life in different ways, but nonetheless it's a similar life, and we all go through similar thoughts and feelings depending on how we've been conditioned, what we've been exposed to all our life, whether that's through loved ones, friends, media, social media. You know, all these things make a difference to who we become and what we become afraid of, and how we think of ourselves. I got to the point where I realized I was just missing human touch, just a handshake, a hug, just some physical contact. It just made me realize how important connecting with people really is, because I think that's what we're here to do. We're just here to help one another, and the more you can help yourself, then the more you can express that onto others. It's a feeling of belonging. It's a feeling of having a purpose. It's a feeling of being needed, like you're not just a waste of space. I found it's really important to have your own group of people that you get along with, people that you can learn off, people with a similar vibe, where you can just enjoy each other's company and exchange different ideas and experiences. It can really help inspire one another to try something new or to gain some confidence in doing something. This has all led me to being more content with who I am and the kind of life I want to live and where I want it to go. Doing things that make me happy. And that's the thing, only I know what will make me happy. There's no one out there who can tell me, because you know how something makes you feel. So those are the things that you need to do more of. I want to treat life like an experience and to make sure I don't waste any of it. So I try and find something to do every day that fills me with some sort of joy and happiness to make this life worth living. Don't waste it. Time is probably the most precious thing that we take for granted. We can't get time back, so make the most of it. If there's something that you really want to do in life, take steps towards it. If there's somewhere you want to go, start learning about how you're going to achieve it. Don't be afraid. Being afraid is only from things you've been taught your entire life. And once you overcome that fear, you realize there's nothing to be scared of. Start to believe in yourself, because you are capable, you are deserving, you are enough.